Hello, George.
Hello, Abe.
Hello, Mario. How was your Shabbos?
Good, good.
Good.
Yours?
Good. Did I hear right that Ernie is going away this week or next week?
Say it again.
Is Ernie going away this week or next week?
This coming week, yes, on
Is
Wednesday. But he will do
broadcast?
the shit at
Okay.
strange hours. Sometimes it
Yeah.
can be maybe at noon our time.
Oh, yeah.
He'll let us know. Because for him, he'll be 9 hours ahead.
Mhm.
Even though when he goes to Israel, he does it very early in the morning in Israel.
7 o'clock, yeah.
But Israel is 10 hours. I think he's going to be 9. Maybe he's going to be 10 hours ahead also.
Okay. Okay. We'll
Czechoslovakia
see.
and Hungary. We'll see.
Okay.
Today we are in 12.
Yeah.
I mean, answer, not yesterday's, but normally I send every day the recordings. You know that, right?
Right. Yes, of course.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to stop the recording because
George,
Hi, how are you, Ernie?
good to see you.
hello. Who's here? George is here?
You see? I thought I shocked
Jorge.
you. Good night.
Dichoso los ojos que lo ven. ¿Dónde
Exactamente.
estaba?
Chequejeyanu, por favor.
Where were you? Where were
Estábamos
you?
en el este. We went to the east. We were in
Oh.
Tennessee with my wife.
Oh, okay.
So I was not able to connect with you guys during that time, but I kept up my Daf Yomi.
Good. We're on 12.
Yep.
Good days. So we're talking about a courtyard, a chotzer, and if an opening from a house goes into the courtyard, so you get a certain amount of space, daled amos, in order to be able to unload your animal. What if they closed off by a susum? They closed off the door. Yesh lo arba amos. It doesn't negate the rights to arba amos in the chotzer, but parts of psima, there used to be sort of door frames, which the door itself was walled up or boarded up, but they kept the door frame. So then you have the arba amos. But if they remove the door frame, then ein lo arba amos. Then you don't get the dispensation of the area. Kever shepischo sasum. If they've sealed up a kever, eino metame kol sviva. Doesn't, there's no tumma. Parts of psima vustamo, but let's say you have a house, and there's a corpse in the house, and all the doors are sealed up, because normally tumma comes in and out through a door. So if you've sealed up the doors, the tumma doesn't spread outside. But parts of psima vustamo, if you remove the door frames and sealed it up, then metame kol sviva. The tumah doesn't have a Pesach to go out, so it exudes out from everywhere in the house. By his sus, if there was a mace, a corpse in a house, and everything is sealed, then it doesn't spread. Paretz is psimov, but tamikos fripa. But if the door frame is removed, again, just like by a kever it spreads, by a house it spreads as well. You have parallel Rishus Rabims. Let's say Wilshire Boulevard and Olympic Boulevard. And then you have Highland, which is a Mavui. And it's through and through. It's called a Mavui Amafuloshes. But this Mavui goes to a different city. Let's say Wilshire was one city and Olympic is a different city. Ubikshu bnei ayir l'soisman. Bnei osa ayir me'akvin alein. The other city can prevent them from closing it up because it's an access route for them. And loma boy kileka darka china debakvi. Certainly, in a case where there's no other way into their city except for that route, that they can prevent it being closed off. Even if there were other ways into their city, they could be mi'akev. Mishum de Rav Yudah Amarav de Amar Meitzar shechziku bu rabim. If you have a road that the public has used it, also l'kalkala, you can't get rid of it. Kid Rav Gidel, don't Rav Gidel, Rabim shaberu derech latzma ma shaberu beru. If the public has used a certain road, then that you cannot remove the ability of the public to use that road in the future. Amar Vanan Amar Shmuel. You have these streets that enter on both sides into Rosh Hashanah. The people who live in the Mavui want to put doors to close off the Mavui. So the Bnei Rosh Hashanah, since these Mavuis open up into a Rosh Hashanah, into Wilshire or Olympic, and if they're going to be doors placed across those streets, like Highland, Olympic and Wilshire will not have the same egress, so they're allowed to prevent it. That's within Arba Amos, maybe of the entrance of this Highland into Olympic or Wilshire. The 4 Amos close to the Rosh Hashanah is treated like the Rosh Hashanah itself. However, the din is velohi. Anywhere on Highland, they can't put a door. The people in Rosh Hashanah will push into the Highland, and they'll demand that all of Highland be through and through, and you can't put a door there. Then the Mishnah said, Lois Asodeh, you can't divide a field. Each partner that gets a share in the field has to have at least 9 kav to be able to seed their land with 9 kav of like 9 bushels of seed. And then the other mandomer said 9 halves. Lo pligi, Mark depends on local custom. The Bavel might. What was the din in Bavel? On Rav Yosef, Beiradu Yoima, an area that it takes you 1 day to plow. My Beiradu Yoma, Yoma Zara. If we're talking about plowing during the time when you put seeds in the ground, like winter, or Trey Yoma Karabalo Avi, because you don't have 2 full days of plowing in the summer. Or Iyoma Karaba, if you're talking about a day of plowing in the summer, Yom Desar Lohavi, then it's just plowing without seeding. Iboy Sema Yom de Karba, we're talking about plowing. And there's still enough time left to seed. The Karvatani. That means, and then you can plow again after you seed. Iboy Sema Yom Desara. We're talking about a day of seeding. And Bahadure, it takes longer to plow because there's a lot of stones there. Now, Davla, which is a pit that partners are getting water from that pit, when can you divide? On Rav Nachman, Beida'alu yoima. Enough for them to be able to draw irrigation for one day. What about a pardes, an orchard? To divide an orchard, it's about a third of what you do for a regular field. We said a regular field is 9 kav to seed. Here by an orchard is 3 kav. I'm selling you a mana within a vineyard, and we don't know what the shear is. It's got to be the size of a vineyard where you can seed 3 kavs of seed. These shiurim, it's like divrei nevuah. It's exer mishamayim. Bebavel mai Rav bar Kansa plus atziyos b'nei tracer gufni. If you're going to divide a vineyard, it's got to be 3 rows with 12 grapevines. Which is the amount that it takes a person to weed for one day. Now, when the Beis Hamikdash was destroyed, there's no more prophecy. And it was given to Chachamim. What do you mean? A lot of Nevi'im were Chachamim too. So Hachikamer, Aval Pisha Nitla Min Nevi'im and Chachamim Lo Nitla. Nevuah was taken away from prophets, but from Chachamim wasn't taken away. A wise man's on a higher level than a Navi. Shneamar v'Navi levav Chachma. A Navi has the heart of a Chachma, of a Chacham. When you're comparing somebody to somebody, you're comparing it to the higher thing. Mi nitla b'ni. Have you ever cotton nitla b'gadol? The cotton, the Navi, is being compared to the Chacham. Amra bayateda. You should know it's correct. The Amr Gavra Rabbi Milsa. When a great man says a dvar halacha, and then the same halacha is said in the name of another great man who held like him. So it's like the new Chacham is saying over a prophecy that he got from the other, since he knows the same halacha as the other guy. My kushya, what's the problem? Maybe they're the same age, maybe they have the same mazel, and they're similar, so maybe that's why they came up with the same idea. The Amar Gavra Rabbi Milsa, when a great man says a big thing, and that thing is repeated, Mishmeid Rabbi Akiva bar Yosef Kavase, it was a sheet of Rabbi Akiva, so you can't say he's compared with Rabbi Akiva, but he knew stuff that Rabbi Akiva knew. So what says Rav Ashi? Rav Ashi, my kusha, Dilma Loha Milsa bar Masle, who maybe regarding understanding, he was similar to Rabbi Akiva. Rav Ashi tated Amar Gav Rabbi Milsa, when a Talmid Chacham says a dvar halacha, umis amra halach l'Moshe Messina kavase, and somebody says, oh, there's halach l'Moshe Messina like him, so he's machavein to something from heaven, which must be a nevuah. I v'dilma kasuma baruba. Listen, even a blind squirrel is white. Even a stopped clock is right twice a day. Even a blind person in an attic can find something, and maybe it's not nevuah. More of a lav tamya, but he gave a reasoning to his statement. So it's obvious that he understands what he's talking about, like a nevuah. Rav Yochanan says that when the Beis Hamikdash was destroyed, prophecy was given over to crazy people and infants. Now, what do you mean l'shoitim? Crazy people. Mai. He was in the streets of Mechuzah. He heard a crazy person yell, Reish Mesivasa the Molech. That A Rosh Yeshiva is going to be appointed by Mosa Machsia. Tavyumi Chosim. He signs his name Tavyumi. So, which was Bar Avashi. So, Mar Avashi said to himself, Man Chosim Tavyumi Rabbanan Anoah. Who's the one who signs his name Tavyumi? It's me. Shema Minolidi Kamili Shaitim. Must be, I'm going to be appointed the Rosh Yeshiva. So he went to the town Mosa Machsia. Meanwhile, they appointed somebody else, Ravacha, to be the Rosh Yeshiva. Given the Shami de Asa, that Mar Ravacha is coming to the city, they said, well, we shouldn't do the appointment that we just did without asking his advice. So they sent a pair of Chachamim to Mar Ravashi to ask his advice. Akve, he delayed them. Another two were sent, he delayed them. Until there were 10 people in his house. Once there were 10, he started darshaning, because you shouldn't darsh unless there's 10. When you have a gathering, you shouldn't have less than 10. So once he started darshaning in public, he basically became the Rosh Yeshiva. He displanted Ravacha Midifti. Ravacha Midifti Anafshe, Kol Amarin Lo B'meir Metivin Lo. If something bad's going to happen to somebody, it's not quick that something good happens. Kol Metivin Lo B'meir Merin Lo. So his mazel went down that he was about to be appointed, but he wasn't appointed. And Mar Ravashi had the opposite. Good was going to happen to him, and it happened. Now, that was for Shoitim. What about Latinoika Ismaili? What do you mean that prophecy is given to children? Kiha, the Bas Rav Chizda. Rav Chizda's daughter was an infant. Yasri confident he used to sit on the lap of his father while he was learning. Havu Yasri Kamei, Rava V'Raim Barcham. Ravi and Rav Barcham were sitting there. Amr Law. So Rav Chizda said to his daughter, Man Minayu boys, which one of these Tamicham do you want to marry? It was like a joke. Amr Le Tarvayu. So the daughter said both. Amr Rav Vanabas, but I want to be last. And that's what happened. The daughter of Chizda married Rami Barchama first, and then after his death, she married Rava. So we see that even Tinoikas have Nevuah. When a person hasn't eaten or drank yet, his heart is not complete. It's like he has two hearts. After he eats and drinks, he goes back to one heart. And it says, it's like they're open. So the same thing, an open person, he hasn't eaten yet. So someone like that has two hearts. Somebody who drinks wine a lot, even if his heart is closed off, like a basula, the wine will open him up. Makes an opening. And it means his heart will become more understanding. It's not a physical thing, it's a spiritual thing. Aravuda, greater of Yeshua. Pshita, if somebody inherited something, chelik b'chor, b'chelik pashut. Let's say there's two brothers. So what happens is you divide the estate into three. The b'chor gets two and the other brother gets one. And let's say there were 3 pieces of land. The b'chor can get the 2 pieces of land that are contiguous. Yavin le achat mitzra. We give the 2 pieces that are next to each other. What about a yavin? Reuven and Shimon. Reuven dies. Shimon performs Yibum on Reuven's wife. He gets the Yerusha of Reuven. Does he get to choose a piece of land next to his own piece of land? Rabbi, yes. My time of Bebor Kayrachmana, Bechor Kayrachmana. They're also, he's called the Bechor. Rava Omar Krovaya Bechor, Bavyaso Kivchor. But Ein Chalukoso Kivchor. No, the brothers don't have to give him the two pieces of land that are contiguous. Person bought a piece of land on the border of one of his family members. Then the father died. He was going to inherit with the brothers. Give me the two pieces of land that are next to each other, which will be easier for me. Now, Midas Dom means if you don't lose out and the other guy benefits, why shouldn't you do it? The people in Stom didn't do it. But we're not allowed to act that way. So why should the brothers have any problem? They don't care where they're going to get their thing, because each one's going to get their equal share. Why not give it to him, the two pieces of land next to each other? Now, Maskiv Lor of Yosef. It's not Midas Stom. The brother could say, we've evaluated these fields, and he nichse debate, Bar Maryan, that this is a better piece of land. We don't want to give it to him. Rav Yosef, that the brothers don't have to give him that piece of land. Trey Arasa Akre Nagri. Two pieces of land next to two irrigation ditches. And he owns another field next to one of these. Amarava, here, here, we allow the guy to get his piece of land next to his other land. But again, Maskil Rav Yosef. If another brother objects to that, it's not Midas Dom. Sometimes one irrigation ditch irrigates the field well, and the other doesn't. So he doesn't want the division that way. The Hilchos Rav Yosef. And we paskin that way. Tarti Echad Nagra. There were two pieces of land on one irrigation ditch. And one of the brothers has a piece of land there already. He wants to get the two contiguous to each other. Here, everybody agrees that nobody can protest. Says Maskif Labaya, Matzi Omer, Ba'ina Dafisha Arisi. I want a piece of land on two sides, and then I'm going to have to add more sharecroppers, and I'll have better shmira. They'll watch the fields better. So he has a way to protest the brother inheriting the field that he wants. To Rav Yosef, Afushi Lav Milsi, that adding the sharecroppers is not a good enough reason. Okay, stop here. Tomorrow, we will learn at regular time, 8:30.
Well,
Good night.
Have a good day, everybody.